the role of creator, builder, and operator, entrepreneurial mindset in corporate management. Today, on behalf of our Managing Director, Dr. Roshan Rajzore, and entire team of Hellis Plantations, I would like to warmly welcome the resource person today to the session, Dr. Sarah Gudas. Before I introduce him to the team, let me little bit elaborate on the rationale behind today's topic. Dear team, an entrepreneurial mindset is a set of skills that enable people to identify and make the most of opportunities, overcome and learn from setbacks, and succeed in a variety of settings. Why is an entrepreneurial mindset important in corporate business environment? An entrepreneurial mindset can aid the development of confidence and mean that one is more inclined to take an opportunities as well as not being afraid to take risks. Additionally, setting goals and milestones for self-improvement is much easier if tied with relevant entrepreneurial skills. So behind keeping that the rationale behind today's topic, as I mentioned to you, the guest speaker for the session is Dr. Sarah Gudas. On behalf of our Managing Director, Dr. Roshan Rajzore, and entire team of Hellis Plantations, Dr. Buddhadasa, I would like to warmly welcome you to the session. Following the protocol, let me introduce yourself to the team. Dr. Sarath Buddhadasa counts over 35 years of experience working with leading industrial, business development, marketing and trading organizations, and with higher educational institutes in Sri Lanka, in addition to his international consultancies as a UNDP expert in entrepreneurship and business development, where he worked in 12 countries in Africa. Further, he is a management development trainer, business consultant, researcher, writer, international trainer in entrepreneurship and management. More than 550 private, governmental and non-governmental institutions in Sri Lanka and 14 other countries have benefited from his professional services. He holds his Bachelor's of Arts special degree from University of Peradeniya, and he holds Diploma in Marketing Management in IBM Sri Lanka. And also, he holds a Master of Business Administration, MBA from PIM Sri Lanka, and he holds PhD in Entrepreneurship and Management from International University of Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. And more specifically, he won the prestigious World Prize from HIDA, Human Resources and Industrial Development Association of the Government of Japan, in October 2014 for his success story presentation on transforming ex-LTT combatants' militancy mindset into an entrepreneurial mindset. That was a case study presented from him. So with that brief introduction, he has more than 35 years experience. And with that introduction, may I invite warmly to the session, Dr. Sarah Gudas. Over to you, Doctor.
Thank you very much, Anuruddha, for your invitation and also the introduction about myself. I thank you, everybody, for joining. And thank you, Mr. Dr. Roshan Rajzore, and for joining, and also your team. I have 1 hour. I hope I can take about 50 minutes or 55 minutes, because Anuruddha has already taken 5 minutes out of my time. Right. I might go for about 50 minutes, yeah. And thereafter, we can have our discussion. Don't have to confine to 10 minutes, but 15, 20, 30 minutes, so no problem. Let me share my presentation. You see it out there?
Yes, we can see, Doctor. If you can go to presentation mode, that is fine. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, now it's clear. Yes. Thanks.
Right. I like your wording. The role of creator, builder, and operator. Yes, of course, entrepreneurship is that. And I will also, I know it's a very, very complex subject area. It's a vast area. And I will try to touch upon your specific part of your topic, which is the mindset, entrepreneurial mindset, and throw away some of the ideas from my side. And afterwards, let's have a discussion. Right. So, Bali is my favorite Sri Lankan entrepreneur. He is a businessman. He has started this entrepreneurial career in the field of business, in the context of business, right? So, with that comment, let me go to the origin of this concept. You know? The how it originated, how it started in the word entrepreneurship. I like this very much. I've been using this all world over, right, in order to explain what is entrepreneurship. Today, the word entrepreneur is rapidly involved in an organic term. It's a very organic term and involved term and a very creative subject area, right? It means many things to many people. And if you go to try to define entrepreneurship, it's very, very difficult to define because it is so complex. And if you try to define, you may not be able to capture the whole gamut of this subject area. So anyway, this one word, right? This word, entrepreneur, which is a French coinage, meaning undertake, means undertake. Entre means really in Latin undertake or enter. That is the meaning of this original meaning of this word, right? The earliest writer who wrote about this subject was Richard Cantillon, way back in 1680s. You know, now this Cantillon believed this term, which is originating from Latin, coined two parts. Now, entre means, as I told you, it's undertake and enter or swim out, right? Which means an entrepreneur is a person who is entering into a new world, uncertain world, hitherto unseen world, right? And walking into that area, taking risks with high confidence. And also, prandai means grasping, capturing, understanding, which means you enter and grasp new things. In that sense, an entrepreneur is an innovator, a person who walks into unknown areas and also walks into uncertain areas, taking risks. And this word entre is superb. Anyone in the society who is doing something new, something anti-traditional, something very constructive, trying to get away from the status quo, and doing something constructive and also breaking into the market, can be called an entrepreneur. Now, today, entrepreneurship is not confined to business alone. Entrepreneurs are found in every profession and in every context. This is what we have to understand. Entrepreneurs are there in medical field, in education, in hospitality industry, in plantations, in the parliament. There has to be entrepreneurs in the corporate sector, in the public sector, in music, dance, sports, everywhere. The people who do something different, being in that context and trying to make a very constructive contribution to the advancement of that particular subject area. That person is called an entrepreneur. So in that sense, you see, Sarath to me, an entrepreneur. He was trying to hit the ball over the competitors, the fielders, within the first 10 overs. and score 100, 110 marks. And that was the hit, going against existence, going against the tradition, trying to be innovative, novel, and break through the barriers. They are entrepreneurial people in their own context. And Mr. Ashraf in business is a real entrepreneur. Created value addition and built an empire. Created, built, operate. That's your. Those are your words. Entrepreneurs. In the context of business. And to me, I don't know whether you agree with me. I think recent times, Lashman Kadiradam, an innovational entrepreneurial politician. You can talk about him, days and months and years. Someone who is different, someone who is unique, someone who can be remembered, someone who was trying to do something creative, contributory to the societal development. And very recently, Yohani, she earned the admiration of millions of fans all over the world. Not that she is not the best of, I don't know whether she has the best knowledge about music, but she was able to break in the market with a very innovative, challenging, right? And also market capturing product. So, the main thing for us to understand is entrepreneurs are all over. You can find them all over in every context. So likewise, there are entrepreneurs in the business context, organizational context. Entrepreneurs. So this subject has been researched into by many scholars, researchers, theories. Entrepreneurs themselves contributed much in its evolution. So one writer who wrote about entrepreneurship and its relationship to economic development is Arthur D. Lewis. So he established through his research, the Nobel Prize winner, right, in 1979, that there's a correlation between entrepreneurship and economic development of a country. There's a positive correlation. When there are more entrepreneurs, the economic development takes place. There are less entrepreneurs, dearth of entrepreneurs, inadequate entrepreneurs, that will have a negative impact on the economic development. Same way, we have to understand when there are entrepreneurial people within organizations, the organization is moving, going forward, breaking barriers, being productive, efficient. There's a correlation between entrepreneurial people within organizations and also what the organization is doing. So this is a very positive aspect of entrepreneurship. And very interestingly, now, today we are talking about corporate entrepreneurship. That is your word. Firstly, in fact, in a very extensive manner, it was discussed by this US-based consultant, business consultant, Peter Drucker. He said corporate entrepreneurship is the process by which individuals inside the organization pursue opportunities, encouraging innovation at all levels in the organization, corporation, division, business unit, functional area, project at the project team level. So now we call it, when we have people within the organization who are entrepreneurial, and then the organization become an entrepreneurial organization. The only thing is, the difference here is entrepreneurs have themselves invested their own money, capital, and taken risk and started or built or created this organizations, businesses, whereas the people within the organization have not done that. But still, they have the same kind of entrepreneurial character mass, minus the investment. Therefore, they were called entrepreneurs. They are entrepreneurs within the business. That is the word we use for people who are entrepreneurial and acting as entrepreneurs within the organizations. So he said, and also believe, entrepreneurs should only apply, should only apply to people who create something new, same as Candelian, something different, and also who changes systems, changes processes, making things happen, transfigure values. They are called entrepreneurs within the organization. So you can be entrepreneurial within the organization and support the development of your business entity. Now, according to Drucker, entrepreneurs always searches for change, respond to it, exploit it. They are called opportunities. So we need to have entrepreneurial people within the organization and create entrepreneurial systems, entrepreneurial processes, entrepreneurial cultures. When you have that, we call that we have in that particular organization the concept called CE, corporate entrepreneurship. Now, the father of entrepreneurship is Dr. David C. McCallum, Professor David C. McCallum from Harvard. In fact, he is not very much discussed in Sri Lanka, but when you go to the West and the East, and he is the man considered as the father of entrepreneurship. In fact, the whole globalization concept is firstly developed in USA, enriching with David C. McCallum's findings of a research. So he did a research and wrote a book called The Achieving Society. There he said, the entrepreneurs are the people who create wealth in countries. And he said by that, they create developed countries. So their development is a result of entrepreneurial activity. He asked this question, why some countries are poor and why some countries are rich? The main reason, he said, was human capital. In rich countries, the people have a need for achievement. That was his finding. That was his finding. So he said, the achievement orientation amongst people leads to economic enhancement. That's his finding. And I'm a great fan of his research and also findings. And also I work with this theory, not only in this country, other countries also propagating that, applying that in order to make changes within the organization and also amongst the citizens in especially developing countries. So he said, when you have more people who are achievement oriented in the society becomes achieving society. Achieving society. And when you don't have achievement oriented people in a given country, that country becomes a non-achieving country, non-achieving society. So when you have a non-achieving society, it leads to lack of economic development. And also within organizations, he said, if you have NH-oriented people, achievement-oriented people, they build, develop, grow, sustain businesses, accelerate the process of development. That if you don't have NH-oriented people within an organization, that organization will stagnate. So exploring his concept further, I would like to highlight some of his findings. He said, if you take a person, the person is driven by 3 needs. These are called modes, egos, or orientations. Now, one orientation that you and I or every person, every human being have is the need for achievement. That's one part of our personality. One part of our personality, right? A person who is having need for achievement will set higher order goals and meet any challenge and find solutions and exploit resources to the maximum and drive the personality towards contributing to the larger common goal of the organization of the country. So that is the achievement orientation part of ourselves. Everyone has it, right? And then there's another part, he said, power orientation, right? That is your influence in power. That's your influence in power. When you have the influence in power, you influence your environment and get what you want by using the environment. It can be people, structures, systems, organizations, societies, entities, resources, all that. You influence. That's called influence in power. You have it, I have it. And this influence in power, he categorized into three types of powers. Now, in your power orientation, if the organizational power content is high, you become organizational leaders. Within the organization, you are able to influence your team and drive the team towards achieving a common goal. And if your power orientation has the political power, which is dominant in that particular mode, you become a politician. You influence the society. And then if your social power aspect is stronger in your power orientation, you become a social worker. So this is the behavior. That leads to behavior. And that is the second mode. That's the second mode. Now, the third one is called the need for affiliation. That part is the one which makes you to establish relationships with others, with institutions, with the culture, right? With your backgrounds, with your education, with your religion, with your practices, all that. So you get yourself affiliated with that. And what happens is this affiliation is one which always reinforces relationship with the affiliates. So only thing is, if the affiliation orientation is higher in your personality, that means you will depend on the external factors with whom you are making or creating or sustaining relationships. In that sense, you lose your independence. You lose your independence. You depend on those factors. Now, you see, any person has these three modes: power orientation, achievement orientation, and affiliation orientation. Now, according to Macmillan's research, right, undertaken in 1961 anyway, but still this has been discussed. Even in Harvard, this has been discussed still. That's the beauty of it. So now he said, out of these three, one is dominant in you, in your personality. Say your achievement part is more dominant and the strength is higher compared to other two modes. Your behavior is achievement orientation. If your power need is more dominant, you become a power-oriented person. Behavior is either leader, a political or societal leader, that you can end up there. And your affiliation need is more, that means you will have relationships develop with other people, but only thing is he cautioned, as a result of the relationship development with other people, you may lose the time and the resources in the midst of it, and by that particular behavior you will lose to achieve your own goals. That's a problem with the affiliation orientation. Now his conclusion is, right, if this need for achievement is higher in you, your behavior is very entrepreneurial, whatever the context. You may be in marketing, but you are a very entrepreneurial marketer. You are in management, you are a very entrepreneurial manager. You are in a technical aspect, you are very entrepreneurial, technically entrepreneurial person. You are in parliament, you are a very entrepreneurial politician. You are a driver, you are a very entrepreneurial driver on the road. You see? You are a doctor, very entrepreneurial doctor. So, in the context where you are being, and if you have high need for achievement, it's very likely you'll be very, very entrepreneurial. Okay. So, if in a given country, there are more entrepreneurial people, which means the people who are having need for achievement, that leads to economic development. That leads to economic development. And if in a country where affiliation-oriented people are higher, that leads to poverty. That was his conclusion. That was his conclusion, right? When you have need for achievement-oriented people within an organization, that organization is going to be a dynamic one, productive one, efficient one, competitive one, and also innovative one, which will have a global presence in the market. That is the power of achievement orientation. You see, and when you have achievement orientation in you, need for achievement, what happens is you will not have idle time. Your whole personality is geared to maximize the available resources in a given situation. When you have the enough orientation or affiliation orientation, leaving or setting aside your resources, you tend to establish relationship with others. As a result, your products and services creation, building, operating will not happen. So therefore, he argued, if in a given country, even if the resources are rich in that particular country, human resources, physical resources are rich, if the enough orientation is higher among that populace, that country leads to a poor country. It will not become a rich country. On the other hand, he argued, if in a given country, even if there are no resources, physical resources, the people are high achievement oriented, that country will be developed. True, no? You take Singapore, you take Macau, you take Hong Kong, you take Israel, you take even now our neighbor Maldives, you take Japan for that, for instance. What do they have? But they are developed. But they are developed. You see, our country, what do we have? We have so much of resources. Huh? Zircon, rutile, ilmenite, kaolin, dolomite, mica, sea around us, fish, sunlight, water, soil. 30,000 tanks, the kings built, irrigation system, we had all that. Where are we? So where's the problem? Where's the problem? So my research, right? In fact, what Macmillan did in USA, I replicated here through my research. And you see, in our country, 82% of the population, 82% of the population possess enough orientation, need for affiliation. Only 6% you get amongst our population who are achievement oriented. So you see, this is a factor that we have to consider. If you take an organization, you see, if we have more than 50% or 60% of the people at all levels who are entrepreneurial, that organization will drive very effectively and efficiently towards its common objective goals. Irrespective of having resources or anything, the people in a given country, even in a given organization, having enough orientation, that resources will not be used to maximize maximize its potential exploitation, that organization will stagnate. So corporate entrepreneurship is where you create enact orientation, achievement oriented people within the organization and push it forward, accelerate its growth. And there's a relationship to child practices, and we don't have time to discuss that. But parents who are adopting a non-risk-taking, non-innovative, non-creative child rearing approach in a given country, you will shape up a personality of your child which is non-entrepreneurial. So when they join an organization, right, maybe having so much of qualifications, but the personality is such, they are affiliation oriented. No achievement there. Therefore, you will have a problem with such people in an organization. So impact of this behavior is on individual, family, organization, society, and the country. If you are an achievement-oriented person, you'll be successful. If you have achievement-oriented people within your family, circles, kith and kin, extended family, your family is an achievement-oriented family, successful family. Same in the organization, same in the society, and the same in the country. Right? Same in the country. So now, you see, now, what's the situ? You go to an organization. So it's clear that we have to apply entrepreneurial concepts within the organization so that it will become innovative and creative at all levels. And for that, apart from your processes, systems, and resources, you must have human resource developed in terms of its entrepreneurial mindset. So the ability to instill self-employed mindset, entrepreneurial mindset among its employees, and the personality of such employees to hold such an attitude is what organizations need today. I, as a consultant, when I go to different organizations to undertake strategic planning or research surveys, climate surveys, or training, management development, HR practices, so many other things, I encounter that the dark side of personality very often in this country. That's a challenge for us. That's a challenge for us. And you go to Machusi. What did he say? One of the greatest business titans of the 20th century, Machusi said, the companies need employees who think like an entrepreneur, not a hired hand. Employees who depict psychological or personality characteristics of an entrepreneur. You see, therefore, this concept, personal, enact orientation, entrepreneurial mindset, by nature, it is psychological. So you must have an entrepreneurial approach, which is based on personality development. That personality development aspect is based on psychological principles. So that is the approach you have to adopt in order to create corporate entrepreneurship within the organization. Right. If you don't have this mindset in the organization, what is the solution? If you don't have this mindset in a society, what is the solution? If you don't have this mindset in a particular situation, what do? Very simple. Very simple. You can develop this mindset by focusing on 10 competencies. 10 competencies. These are called PECs. Personal entrepreneurial competencies. And create the desired behaviors. What the organization wants. What the organization wants. Now, what is it? Number one, to develop risk-taking ability amongst people. That can be done. Hmm. Now, McClellan and the clan, thereafter, many other researchers said, you have to develop the moderate risk-taking ability, not high or low. It's called a calculated risk. Number one. Number two, develop people skills in order to be accountable. Take personal responsibility for his or her actions. Don't blame the environment for his or her inabilities, inefficiencies, non-achievements. Evaluate yourself. So personal responsibility. Take personal, be responsible, develop ownership. That's the second one. Thirdly, he said, get them to actually research the environment. That will lead to better decision making. Better decision making. In Sri Lanka, I see, research is a lacking aspect. Even among the corporate sector, No? And also learns from past experience, feedback orientation. Yeah, get feedback from your own experience, from your own workings. What happened in the past, learn from that. Does things create, develop creative minds, creativity. You can do that, right? Creativity, innovativeness, competitiveness. Touch upon that area. And also get concrete measures of his or performance. Feedback on his performance, her performance. Enrich the positive ideas, change the negative ideas. With that, the person will be able to develop his or her effective, creative, innovational approach towards many things that he or she will undertake. And also, these energy-oriented people, right, tends to persist in the face of difficulties and obstacles. Right, resilience. Now today is a very good thing. Our entrepreneurs, right? Now, according to this research, right, entrepreneurs, he took a sample of 3,400. That's a sample, right? It's a cross-cultural study, right? USA, Ecuador, Malawi, India, Indonesia, that was sample. It's a cross-cultural. Now, he concluded these entrepreneurs enjoy chaotic environmental situations. If the environment is stable, they don't enjoy life. So real entrepreneurship emerges when the market is chaotic. Right. If the organization is going through a very difficult, bad time, the entrepreneurial people, the spirit, that knack that they have inside in their psychology comes out, emerges, and finds solutions. They won't leave organizations. They won't say no. They are not negative. They are very positive, realistic, practical. They have solutions. And they usually demonstrate some interpersonal competence. No, they are associating only those people who can support their achievement-oriented journey. With others, no, not much of connection. That's NH-oriented. We can develop this. We can develop this. There are so, techniques which I have been using. And then, pressure. Whole Japan is time-oriented. Time is a value, right? Time is a value. They are on time, just on time, right? Entrepreneurial people work on time. They won't waste time. They manage time. They utilize time. They take advantage of time. 10th tech is challenge the status quo. Challenge what you are doing now. See whether you can, reorient it, recreate it, reconstruct it, develop it. Find breakthroughs. That is challenging the status quo. Or else you may succumb to it, or you may just go with the status quo, or you get yourself developed in such a way that you conform to the status quo. As we call it now, comfort zone. That's not the way, entrepreneurs. So these are the 10 picks that we try to inculcate amongst people so that they become highly achievement oriented. And they develop the organization, they develop countries, they change societies, they transform societies, they transform organizations. So that's called 10 picks. So we have the solution also. Now you see, what are the paybacks? Having the class of entrepreneurial people in the organization leads to what? You have to see, this is the Grainer's model. Greiner said it at every stage of the development of your organization life cycle, it evolves. The same time you face a crisis point. When you see a crisis point and you have to come out with a solution. Mostly in our organization, if we are having achievement-oriented entrepreneurial mindset within the organization, they become highly competitive and innovation. What is their output then? They introduce life cycles, product life cycles, service life cycles, and they contribute to the organizational life cycle to extend the existence, sustenance, growth, profitability. Now you see, you evolve, then crisis, evolve, crisis, evolve, crisis, evolve, crisis. So organization goes through different phases of crises in its process of evolution. So entrepreneurs are there to provide solutions. But basically, if you take, right, one solution would be, recreating, reshaping, reorienting the life cycles. Now you see this situation. You have this life cycle of a product, right? That level, early death. You start, another 2 years time, organization is dead with one product. Early death. No action taken. Non-entrepreneurial people would have run the operation. You have survivalist, stagnant. It goes up to some extent, then it starts declining. Or the same level, survivalist. They will also see their death soon when the competition is higher in the market. And thirdly, you see limited growth. They grow faster and they come to a situation at this crisis point. They don't have solutions. They stagnate, limited growth. Then you have another cycle called high growth. High growth. High growth. Shorter period, high growth. Become large and hit their targets. Shorter period, millions, so billions in terms of revenue or employment or expansion or modernization. That's way. And so this is how you can see the organizations are, moving in the market. Now, the thing is, if you have this cycle, all right, stagnant, declining, or no growth, here what you can do is detect at this point and use entrepreneurial interventions by people. When you have the entrepreneurial mindset created within the organization at these different development levels of the life cycle, right? If you infuse entrepreneurship, you can really change the direction of the product life cycle, organization life cycle. So this is where you could give the injection and turn around. So for that, you need entrepreneurial people. You need entrepreneurial mindset. You need entrepreneurially fit people within an organization. That leads to GEO. What are the GEO indicators? Company growing, surpassing the industry growth. Why? The organization has entrepreneurial people. Doubling the market share growth every 3 years minimum. Constant innovation and introducing new PLCs, product life cycles, different ones, portfolio management. Strategic planning for diversification, expansion, and modernization. You see, when you have the entrepreneurial mindset, they always go for strategy. They know it's the strategy that wins in the market. So they are strategists. They develop strategies. They pursue strategies. They always have a strategic plan with them. And these are the indicators of GOE, growth-oriented enterprises. The main driver is having a class of entrepreneurial minds or mindsets. And I've been doing this transformation in different organizations, Sri Lanka as well as other countries. And the PEX model, personal entrepreneurial competencies, along with my former boss, Dr. Anton Balasur. This is a South African project that we implemented there, transforming employees into entrepreneurial minds, intervention and prerequisite. These are the interventions. Now, this Turner, 2012, he said, Colin Turner stated, best-selling author, The Psychology of Corporate Entrepreneurship, said, I believe having an entrepreneurial mindset is what every business needs in order to flourish. Its employees need to be persuaded, like the owner. That can be done by implementing transformation-oriented PEX-based programs. Here in Sri Lanka, that's what Narudda mentioned. Use the same model here with a group of ex-combatants in Sri Lanka. Ex-combatants, LTT combatants, hardcore LTT combatants. We train them using this model. And majority of these people, when they join, it as child soldiers. When we integrated them with the society, they were trained. Out of 360 hardcore LTT militants trained with this PEX model, 200 people, 200 without any intervention, without any support from the government, they started their businesses. These Tamil boys, Tamil girls, they asked, why didn't you do this 30 years back? That was a question. Our lives would have been different. So, you see, this is an extreme case I'm taking, right? We have done this everywhere. Here also in the corporate sector with entrepreneurs, many other people, right? You can make this change happen within the organization. And hand in over the first child soldier trained by us in Baunia. And after that, in fact, we had this session propagated among the forces, and they appreciated. Right, rehabilitation. We said rehabilitation, not just giving the technical competence like making bricks and this and that. We said entrepreneurial rehabilitation. In fact, we changed the vocabulary of training. We said entrepreneurial rehabilitation. First time we coined it here in Sri Lanka, and it worked. It worked, right? And they were supported. Publicity, and I presented this case in Tokyo. I was given the best case study of the world award, and then in fact with rich experience, I wrote my book on attitudes and behavior orientation of Sri Lankan entrepreneurs, presented this in Washington to my friend Mr. Chitra Lamasi, who's heading the enterprise development section of the World Bank in Washington. Then when the Easter bombing happened, the UN people came and invited some of the people, including myself, how to address this issue, how to develop these people, how to change their mindsets. And I was doing some work also with them. And so my formula, when it comes to corporate success factors, is right 3-dimensional success formula. Start from the entrepreneurial philosophy, give them the determination, and use PEX model. You will change the whole mindsets. You change the mindset and you create a culture, entrepreneurial culture in the organization that will accelerate the process of growth. And do this in your organization, you can capture the world. You do this in the country, we'll be a developed country. Unless otherwise we touch upon this area, I think it's a big challenge for us to achieve economic development in this country. You have to inculcate an entrepreneurial mindset, create an entrepreneurial culture that will lead to development. Thank you so much. I took exactly 50 minutes, I think. Thank you very much, Arudha. Thank you very much for listening. And if there are any questions, we can discuss. Clarifications, comments.
Thank you very much, Doctor. I think out of this 17th session, it is really an entirely different dimension we have taken on selecting topics. I think our team has really engaged deeply and listened to you on this innovative topic. Before I open the session for Q&A, I think it's my pleasure and it's my honor to invite our Managing Director, Dr. Roshan Rajuri, also to make his comments. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Aniruddha. Dr. Buddhadasa, on behalf of the Haley's plantation sector, I take this opportunity to extend our very grateful appreciation for taking the time in the first instance. And secondly, as Aniruddha mentioned, is something completely out of the box for us, because I think in a way it's very timely because of the challenges and circumstances that we are now compelled to face from decisions made beyond our control. The plantation sector, with all its dynamics and complexities, is facing a good, fairly high challenge. So I think what you told is basically is not to follow the same old way, or not to follow the same old beaten path, but to have a different mindset, different attitude, that is entrepreneurial mindset, in order to challenge the situation and then come out with a winning formula. So I think as planters, we've been in a 150-year-old industry. Time has come late, but at least now to think of the business environment with a different line of sight. And I think our managers and planters who have been listening to this will start questioning their modus operandi as to how we are going to operate in the future. So thank you very much for giving us a theoretical background and telling us your experience, how when given the opportunity, people with courage and determination can make a difference, not only to themselves, but to the organizations that they represent. So thank you very much for the time. I deeply appreciate that you shared your knowledge and your overseas and local experience in how you can transform with this attitude, even the people who have no hope, no resources, or no future. So I think that's a good lesson that we have to carry from today. Every situation, there's a solution if you only have the courage and the wisdom to see a different side and a different path that we can tread on. So thank you, Doctor. I deeply appreciate taking the time. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I hope that we can have the benefit of your slides. And Aniruddha, over to you, Aniruddha, if there's anything our managers want to clarify. Over to you.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you
very much.
Thank you very much, sir. So the session is open for Q&A. I think our team has, surely have some questions and queries from the Dr. Buddhadasa. Now session is open for Q&A. You can raise, so you can just mention your name and open the video and you can raise a question. Thank you.
Good evening, Doctor. I'm
Good
Eranda.
evening. Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, Doctor, for your brilliant ideas that were shared with us. And also, I would like to thank Dr. Roshan Rajadure and Aniruddha for organizing continuously this kind of sessions. Doctor, what I would like to ask is, especially I was very keen about the program, what you did to the rehabilitation of the LTTE cadres, which would have been a really, life-opening experience. what are the main elements that you were focusing on that, and what sort of a area you were looking to build in their inner thoughts and stuff like that, Doctor?
Yeah, it's thank you very much, Rand, for asking that question. It was, in fact, when we joined this rehabilitation program, at the tail end of it, it was, in fact, one of my friends who contacted me and asked me what you can do. So I went there and met these young boys at the Pontattam camp, and then realized these people have only the mindset, only the mind, nothing else. No parents, no sisters, no resources, no houses to go, majority. No limbs, no hands, but they had the mind. I call them Jaffna mind. I call it Jaffna mind. Very entrepreneurial. And they said, apita meva ugandana, mahantu ugandana, dance karno, ati vadak. I said, yes, what can you do with that? It's not a life skill. So I said, yes. We designed a program, 6-day program, initially to change the mindset, because that's a militancy mindset. To change that. So there are, different kind of psychology-based instruments that you use, right? So that was the first thing. Then we were talking about how to achieve in life. What are the areas that you can go in for? So we were focusing on economic achievement. First mindset change, and then economic achievement. After that, competence. Those are the areas that we touch upon. It's a 6-day program. And then it worked. In fact, they said, we want to be Sri Lankans. We want to support our motherland. We want to take charge of our lives. And we want to protect our nation. Nation means all Sri Lankans, right? So that I have all the comments that they have made. So when I made this presentation in Japan, the ambassador to India, she was in the audience. So she came to me and asked, Sarath, why didn't you say this in Geneva? I said, madam, I'm not a politician. And politicians should have done their job. So 3 areas: mindset change, right? And economic option, competence. And within 6 days, we did a lot of things, and it worked without any follow-up. No follow-up. No follow-up.
And Doctor, wasn't the language was a barrier?
I can, I come from Kandy, so I can, and I have my relatives who are Tamil, so I can speak Tamil. But only I'm not very fluent, all right? I'm not very fluent. So anyway, I was ready with two other interpreters. They said, sir, Singalat English So we conducted the program in English.
Great.
They had the mind. That was the mindset, We think these Tamil people, this and that, they are so good. So if you approach the human being with a human touch, you can change.
Thank you, Doctor. Great.
Thank you so much, Anand, for asking that question.
My pleasure.
Yeah.
Good evening, Doctor. I am Tiloshan from Adropola.
Yeah, Tiloshan. Yes, Tiloshan.
Doctor, first of all, I would like to thank us this opportunity. And also, I have a question. Once in one of the slides, it was mentioned that an entrepreneur would like a chaotic environment. Chaotic, Doctor, you can, in a chaotic environment, it is challenges exotic environment. Advantages is it is a possibility in developing whatever the business.
That's right. Yes.
And
you see,
as a disadvantage, we can have losing. But to regain or to come back to that state, we will take. So on those grounds, what to know, whether to take a new risk and lose. Obviously, it would be something a risk, a calculated risk can be taken to develop the business.
Yeah.
Or
Theologian, I don't.
whatever that
Yeah.
we engaged on, but as a disadvantage we future. So there's a very big what we have already built up. So because of the uncertainty of the environment that we are on due to the chaoticness. Hello.
Theologian, I don't know whether I got your question correctly because there was a disturbance. Now you see, you have entrepreneurs and non-entrepreneurs. Non-entrepreneurs always, like to have a stability, stable, peace of mind, status quo, no change, let us be happy, right? That kind of a mentality. Now, entrepreneurs are different. They like challenges. Within the challenge, they see the opportunities. It is that opportunity they convert into a functional organization through which they produce products and services. You see, that is called triggering. Triggering. When you have achievement-oriented, mentality, when something happens, they get triggered and they do respond with a very constructive solution. Now, I would say Japanese. They were hit by the Americans, but they bounced back. They bounced back, and now they are hitting the Americans. You see, our nation. You take our nation. How many triggers we had? We had, I don't want to mention, but I can mention. You see, 30-year-old war. That was a trigger. We didn't get triggered. We had tsunami. Did we get triggered? We had many other, things happen in history, recent history. The achievement orientation. When the achievement orientation missing in you, you won't get bounced back. You won't trigger yourself. You won't respond constructively. You always respond destructively. This is the situation. Therefore, entrepreneurs, they always like to go through chaotic, difficult, right, turbulent environment so that they enjoy that because they see opportunities. So that is the personality of NH-oriented entrepreneurial mindset. Now you see, what do we have? Now even take today. Today, how do we respond to this situation? Are we responding constructively or destructively? All other countries are, constructively, responding to COVID situation. What are we doing? What are the options? What are the alternatives? How can we come out from this situation? What are the solutions? That is the area that we have got to think of. So that has to be explored, and that is where you plan strategically to come out from the difficult situation. Otherwise, we get stagnated. So, Theologian, that is the entrepreneurial mind. That is
so in the taking of these risks of expanding or exploring into whatever the opportunity you have, how can you calculate the risk in a much more similar, easy way, just to be sure of the guidelines that you are traveling on?
Yeah. Now you see, now non-entrepreneurs, they calculate with numbers. They calculate with numbers, and they do a business plan and say this is feasible or not feasible. Entrepreneurial calculation is insight-based. They have the instinct. They calculate with their mind and the mindset. Mindset, of course, backed by IQ level, right? And they decide this is the position I have to pursue. You take this entrepreneurial people, especially business people. You ask the business people, how do you make decisions? That's called insight. So entrepreneurs are insight oriented. They have the right brain. Now, when you have the calculation in terms of numbers, they have the left brain. So left brain is always risk aversive. Right brain is risk taking. It has a psychological dimension. When we do our interventions, we take this into care and we change the mindset using those interventions. Therefore, they will be able to look at things differently. Now, when I learned this in the University of Philippines, Dublin University, and Kenya Institute of Management, right? All these places, about 2.5 years. 2.5 years. My training in Philippines alone on this 1.5 years. So within 6 days, I apply that and change the people. That can be done. We have done this in organizations. So that's the mindset. So, so it's nothing to do with education, right? It has nothing to do with education. Collecting educational certificates doesn't have any bearing on that. Yes. That can support, provided that you are an entrepreneurial personality. According to Atkinson, about 40% of your entrepreneurial DNA is inherited. So that's why you have selection methods used when it comes to organizations as well as this kind of training program, right? So you select people and then train. You must have the insight, knack in order to arouse it. If you don't have it, you don't have it. So if you take in Bolvi into the organization, you can't plan. You can't expect that to plan. Whatever the menu, whatever the water you put in, it will not happen. That's bold. We have seen that in our penny bills in a small age. Right? You bold we get a kumbura danokota, Samara Palino, Palavenda, Pora Dala, Matrudal, Bolvi. So, whatever the intervention that you effect to that people, you know. Now, we have methodology. Now, even this Pontotam camp where we selected 30 out of 100. Always 30 out of 100, 30 out of 100. Now 360 we selected out of 1,000 people. We selected. Like that's what you do in organizations also, no? You select the right people. Yeah. Then only you develop them. Yeah. Thank you for asking that question.
Thank you very much, sir, for your clarification, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you, Tiroshan. We can allow another one more question from the team.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening, Doctor. I'm Tharga Javadhan from Canlivali Plantations.
Yes.
My question is, as an entrepreneur, if I get 2 opportunities of expanding present business to higher potential and profitable level, and other one is to invest new business which can make higher profits. What is the word decision with someone having entrepreneurial mindset?
Start to expand the new one. Expand the existing one.
Expand present business to potential level. Other one is start new business.
You do both. Why not?
Which can make a higher profit other than improving the current business.
I would say do both. Why not? That's an opportunity. Don't miss it. Why select? You do both because both are profitable. Yeah. That's the way you look at things. Why is we do both? You see, because entrepreneurs always they are multitask. You know, they are multitask. That's why they have portfolios. Non-entrepreneurial people, if they start a business, they will be in that particular business for centuries. Now I see from Kandy to Colombo, you know, traveling from my childhood, you know, Buddhadasa Talaguli, Hamadam Ekavagi. That Talaguli, we still eat is still. That there's no change in that. Right? Right? So it's a stagnant business. So when you have this multitasking thing, that's what you look into different options and you grow your business on different paths. So I take, what I say is do both. Why not? Yeah. Is that
Thank you very much, sir.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vijita. I think it's my duty, doctor. I think tomorrow you have another busy day and you have some homework to do also. So on behalf of
I know that I have been invited to come for Mahabharata program series.
Okay. So thank you, Doctor. I think there are a lot of questions from the team, but I think you have stay with us more than I think 75 minutes with us, valuable time. So on behalf of our MD, Dr. Roshan Rajare, and also entire team of Hellis Plantations, Doctor, I think it's a really valuable session with new thinking. I think team has taken some keywords from the session, maybe moderate risk, personal responsibility, concrete measures, and status quo. There are some others, but I like these few words, keywords. So I think there are some good take-home messages as well. So once again, Dr. Entire Hellis Plantations team has enjoyed and educated very well with this innovative topic, entrepreneurship. And it is not a stranger concept for corporate world as well, that you explain very well, that is with the human being in anywhere he's living and working. So with that, let me thank again. Thank you very much, Doctor. And there is a small token of appreciation from Hellis Plantations, where I can, with the barrier of the without human touch, that I can only show this token. So I will ensure that it will be delivered to your doorstep. Thank you very much, Doctor.
Thank you for giving this opportunity, and thank you for asking questions. I really enjoyed, and have a pleasant evening. Good night.
Okay, good night, Doctor. Thank you very much. And
good night, and thank you, Doctor.
Good night. Thank you.
Thank you. So,
Dr. Roshan, I know your brother. I worked with him in Kandy.
Oh, really? Right.
He is doing an excellent job, supporting differently able people.
I know his wife. Yes. Thank you very much. We'll meet up personally.
We'll meet up. Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you. Welcome.
We'll again see you with another innovative and interactive session, maybe on first week of March, most probably on personal branding. So till then, we'll see you and have a great evening. Good night. Thank you.